Basketball fans, welcome back. So, I saw this report last week. I didn't get the chance to react to it, but in this video, I'm going to address it and I'm going to give a unique perspective and how it affects the Nairobi City Thunder. So, before we get started, like, share, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. I'm really enjoying the support I'm receiving on this channel, and without your support, I don't think these videos would be possible. So, without out of the way, let's just get into it. So, we saw this big transaction. We saw Abdoulaye Harouna, Ater Majok, and Will Perry join AS Ville de Dakar. This is a Senegalese team, and they are in the Sahara Conference, and they're going to be competing in the, Sahara Conference, and they are going to be defending home court. So this is an aggressive power grab by AS Ville de Dakar. And where does this leave the Nairobi City Thunder? And I'm going to give a unique perspective as to what I've seen in the Nairobi City Thunder squad and rotation and what they have done throughout the years. This past year, not the other years, but this past year specifically. Because this is the year that they've made history as being the first Kenyan team to qualify in the BAL, BAL Season 5. We're going to have a Kenyan team in there. So I'm very excited. I'm at the edge of my seat. And when I saw this transaction, it kind of took me off guard, but it was something that was bound to happen because Abdoulaye Harouna and Ater Majok, these are players who have earned their stripes in the BAL. Ater Majok is somebody who is a BAL champion in the US Monastir, somebody who has dominated the glass for any team that he has been on. And Abdoulaye Harouna, somebody who has played for 4 different BAL teams, a perennial guy who can make a team's offense and defense improve. So these are 2 high maintenance guys, and also adding there Will Perry. He really balled out the River Hoopers. He's no stranger to being one of the top players in the BL. So Abdoulaye Harouna and Ater Majok came to the Nairobi City Thunder at a premium. So the Thunder were really, I can even say they were paying top dollar for these 2 guys, because without these 2 guys, I don't think it will be possible for the Nairobi City Thunder to be able to make it and go 5-0 in the League 16, subsequently winning the Division East and getting that ticket to the BL and winning it everything. So these 2 really improved the offense and defense for the Nairobi City Thunder. So I'm going to give a unique perspective that I think a lot of people might gloss over, especially when it comes to the Nairobi City Thunder and also the relationship between what happens with the Nairobi City Thunder and also how people should, understand and perceive teams retooling. So the Nairobi City Thunder did an aggressive power grab this past year in 2023. So in 2023, this is when they did the unthinkable, when they went ahead and assembled a squad of players who did the most damage, especially when it came down to, putting the game setting up a team that's going to go ahead and attack the game and do the unthinkable. And a lot of people had their doubts on the Nairobi City Thunder when they put this team together, but when it's all said and done, and especially when you finish the regular season 22-0 and going unbeaten in the playoffs and finals, adjustments needed to be made. So one thing that I've seen with Kenyan teams, we are very good at talent acquisition, and talent development is something that we are not good at. So the Nairobi City Thunder want for players who are good, especially in the 254. So they went and got players who are very good, which is something that is done by contending teams. When a contender, they want to go ahead and dominate, majority of the time they go and get people who are well-known, people who are very good at their jobs, especially they understand their roles on offense and defense. And at the local level, this strategy enabled them to become one of the best teams in Kenyan basketball. So when they won the finals, the Thunder looked at their squad and they decided to make a couple of signings. So in that off season, they did it in the most spectacular way, because every single time I was receiving like a notification on my phone, like the Thunder just went and signed somebody. So they went ahead and signed. They started with Chalongwe. They signed Eric Ogechi. They went and signed Eugene Adera. They signed UC. and they signed Big Will. So they went and did those major signings, and they geared up for the first round of the BAL with the road to BAL. So in the first round, that was in Tanzania, Kibaha to be exact. So they went ahead and they finished the 3-1 record, just behind Urnani, and they had that dogfight against Urnani. So that was a very good stretch of 4 games that they played, and they were able to test out their players, but they needed to fix up on a bit of their offense and defense. So that's why they went ahead and got Ater Majok and Abdoulaye Harouna. I was not expecting them to get these players, but they were just blockbuster signings, and they went 5-0. So walking back, I mentioned something about talent acquisition and talent development. So when there's a lot of veteran players who are very good, there's not enough talent development because these players are already good. They are fundamentally sound. They are good at what they do, and that's that. So talent acquisition, they did a very good job at that. Now, because they are in the BAL right now as we speak, they are now going to suffer a bit because with the departure of these 2 guys, the Thunder have lost their edge that enabled them to be that team that was really, really dominant. And the reason why I say that is this. Somebody like Ater Majok and Abdoulaye Harouna, these are players who, when they are brought into the team, they have the ability to, add, they add extra wins, and your team looks a bit frightening. Not because like these 2 guys are there, but because these 2 guys bring that aura of winning. And they are people who the BAL, recognize, the BAL community recognize. Ater Majok is that guy who, will go down as a legend because he won the championship. And as the same case as Abdoulaye Harouna, Ater Majok, both these 2 guys, they have shown that they've got what it takes to compete and be those players that are very effective. It doesn't matter which team they're on. So when these guys are not there, and the AS Ville de Dakar have gone into their all-in run with that aggressive power grab when they got these 2 guys, and adding Will Perry, there are 3 guys, it adds a spanner to their works, because now will we be able to see the Nairobi Thunder dominate MBB? Because the Nairobi Thunder beat MBB brutally in Nairobi in the Elite 16. Will they be able to do it? We're not sure. And also, not only these transactions, we've also been seeing other transactions. We've seen John Jackie's Boise move. I will see if I can be able to compile like a majority of these major transactions. But the players who are top players, you're seeing them, moving, and a lot of transactions are happening. The Nairobi Thunder are yet to go ahead and sign somebody, a blockbuster signing, bigger than what we saw Abdoulaye Harouna and Ater Majok be. So it's something that is a bit worrying if you're a Nairobi Thunder fan. Yes, we're in the BAL. Yes, you're going to compete in the Nile Conference, but will we be as dominant as the other teams, and will we be able to bring it on to these other teams? So that's the big question that I think can be a bit glossed over. And also, just to add a curveball, 4 of the top Thunder players played for that Kenya Morans team. And the reasons why I mentioned this is because when those 4 players played those 2 games, they didn't play the game against Tunisia, they played against Angola and Guinea. The whole African basketball community, everyone was watching, and those performances that those players who are in the other nations, the way they played was the main reason as to why, they were able to sign those new contracts. Somebody like John Jackie's Boys, he balled out for Senegal, and you can see he's on his way to Al Ahly Tripoli. So the poor performance by the Kenya Morans players, especially the players who play for the Nairobi Thunder, our top Kenyan players, was abysmal. I can say a lot of people can give the excuse of off-court issues. Those are the things that made, the Kenya Morans not be able to play well. But if you look at the overall gameplay, even regardless of the situation and circumstance, I don't think other teams will be looking in our way because they cannot pry these players from the Thunder. The only players that they saw fit to pry was the foreign players, and they come at a premium. So it begs the question, will the Thunder have what it takes to go ahead and compete in the Nile Conference? Or will they end up like the City Oilers? Because City Oilers, I believe, only won one game. They didn't even make the playoffs. So will they be able to pose a threat? In the first 6 games, will the players who, stunk it up for the Kenya Morans, will they be able to, take a step back and play well? That is something that we are yet to find out and yet to know. So the thing that even shocks me with the whole talent acquisition process for the Nairobi City Thunder, they want finished products and they don't have time to mold players because they are in a win now mode. So when you're in a win now mode, you make a lot of compromises down the road. That's why they make sure to sign the best players, as opposed to developing internally, which developing internally can take years. But given like the situation where they are looking towards competing immediately. So that's why they went and got these 2 guys. Now with the departure of Ater Majok and Abdoulaye Harouna, will the Thunder have enough to be able to play? And given like the way the top players for the Thunder played for the Kenya Morans, will they have the mental fortitude to be able to compete, especially when it comes down to getting their first win in the BAL? Only time will tell there. But there's no talent development. They're in a win now mode. And will they be mentally prepared? Who will they choose as their sparring partner? Because right now, we're in the month of March, and it's roughly 2.5 months. They have like 2.5 months to prepare. Will we see the Thunder, go ahead and play against the Street League Select just to prepare for these BAL teams? Because these BAL teams are not a pushover, because MBB, even despite them being illegitimate, and even I've written them off as a team that had no business being in this tournament, they only put there because South Africa, Pretoria is going to be the venue where the playoffs are going to be, and the BAL are thinking that MBB can be able to make it there, and MBB are riding on the wave of the Cape Town Tigers. I mean, I've gone in them for too long, but all I'm just saying, MBB is illegitimate. They don't deserve to be there. So will the Thunder have what it takes to prepare so they can be able to compete? These are not like the weak teams. These are not teams that you can be able to just walk on. A team like APR, they might look like they are weak, especially last season in BAL season 4, but they are a team that is no pushover. Al Ahly Tripoli, they are retooling. So they are not a team that is also going to lay down. MBB, we're not sure what they're going to do. I've seen a lot of people say that, this is an easy, the Nairobi City Thunder have an easy run there. I don't think so, because at some point they're going to meet adversity, and we're not sure how it's going to happen or where it's going to come. So will they have enough? Will they make key signings? Because most of the top players are getting signed immediately, and they're going into those other teams. Do the Thunder have the ability to be able to attract players the way they attracted Abdoulaye Harouna and Ater Majok? Or will they stay put to their roster? Because the main problem that they have is, do they have enough? Because with the players that we saw, even with them playing even in the Elite 16, the players who showed that they have what it takes were the major signings who are at a premium. You saw UC, Abdoulaye Harouna and Ater Majok carry this team. Will Kenyan players who represent the 254 be able to be those players who are going to be the difference makers, similar to how the other foreign players are? So that is the big question that they have, and we'll be able to see what happens and how it unfolds. But anyway, all in all, I'll be monitoring their training. I'll be monitoring what they are going to be doing, especially in the lead up to the Nile Conference. But before that, I will get to see what will happen in the Kalahari Conference and the Sahara Conference. I don't know, Sahara in the Sahara Conference. But we are going to see the 2 conferences tip off before the Nile Conference. And a lot of pressure will be mounting, especially if we see how the first 2 conferences happen. There's that thing that happens when the other teams that are waiting to see who's going to be the third best team. So if there's a tiebreaker there, the third best team, the 2 third best teams are going to go through. Hopefully the Thunder are able to be the third best team if they can be. because this might look like an easy conference, the Nile conference, but we won't know until we see the first game. So it is what it is. So I'll be closely monitoring, just like I said, and expect these types of videos of this nature. So I am not too confident with the Thunder right now. I know a lot of people are very excited with the prospect of the Thunder playing in the BAL. And yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see that. But will they have enough to be able to do the unthinkable? To be able to, make the playoffs? If they're going to make the playoffs, can they be able to classify and see where they're going to seed? Can they be able to make it to the semis with the type of roster they have? Given the fact that this is their first time in a real, basketball, Champions League. I mean, this is different from how the Afrobasket was, because the Afrobasket, the dynamics of the competition are different, and we didn't get to see too many stars there. So with the BAL, teams have the ability to even sign foreigners. They can be able to bring in mercenaries who can be able to get the job done for them. So Abdoulaye, Harouna, and Ater, Majok, and Will Perry congregating in that Senegalese team, they're going in for their all-in run. So will the Thunder, even if they meet as Ville de Dakar, will they be able to have enough to be able to compete there? So that is one thing that I'll be looking forward to, because at some point, these teams are going to meet up in the first round of the playoffs. That is if the Thunder make it. So I'll be excited to see how this BAL season 5 is going to tip off, because I'll be there to cover it. Now, not physically there, but I will be here on this platform just to talk about it. But it is what it is. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comment section what you think about this. I'm going to talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.